street closure for the Cubmobile race. And that would be September 21st. Do you want to come up and tell us who you are and what your troop, what are you?
Sure, my name's Bob Kofelt. I'm the district chairman for Lincoln Way, which is all of Kosciuszko and Whitley
I
County.
see, okay.
And we've been holding this event here in Warsaw for at least 10 years that I know of, in the same location, same place. We bring in units all the way from Churubusco, South Whitley, Milford, all into Warsaw for the day. It's an event that usually lasts about from 8 to 1 o'clock. We've had as many as 140 kids racing.
Wow.
This is the second year that we've added girls to scouting events and Cub Scouts, and last year we had about a quarter of the participants were girls, and we're expecting even more this year. So it's something that brings a lot of kids into the community, a lot of families.
Great. So this is over on Indiana Street, and
Yes.
this is no different from what we've closed down in the past.
Right.
I know you guys have all done a great job of maintaining a good, safe environment, and we certainly appreciate that. Any questions?
No?
All right, is there a motion to allow the street closure for September 21st?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right.
Okay,
I
thank
hope
you very
get-
much.
I hope you get good weather
I do too.
and have a safe day.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. Chief Wilson, Family Safety Day. Asking for a road closure tomorrow?
Yes,
Okay.
we're looking at probably closing the road off about, or that area off about 6 o'clock in the morning to start setup. The event time is from 7 to 11. It kicks off at 11 o'clock with Parkview Samaritan Landing. The event will run through 3, probably be opening roads back up around 4 or 5 o'clock after all the vendors get their items out of the area.
All right, and this, how many years have you all been doing this?
Well, it's kind of unique because Shirley brought in her shirts today. She's got 13 shirts, 13 years. It all started originally in front of the Justice Building about 15 years ago, what we can backtrack to. So
Nice.
it's growing bigger and bigger every year.
Well, that's a great venue for it, and it's a great family event. Again, hope the weather holds out. Looks like
It's
maybe
gonna
all
be
right.
Weather Service is telling us that they've got the clouds pushed away, and we're
Good.
hoping to have 3,000 to 4,000 people in the park tomorrow.
Well, I hope everyone makes their way down to the park. It's a good event. Questions on the road closure?
No.
Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the closure?
So moved.
Okay. Is there a second to that?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Chief, and especially thanks to Shirley, who I know spends a lot of time getting this organized, and all the community groups that support this, and with financial contributions and participation, so. All right. Mr. Gaff's here, I know what that means. It's time for the Park Ridge Annual Neighborhood Tailgate Party. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, thanks.
Good,
Nice to
good.
be here. So, as Joe mentioned, my name is Aaron Gaff. I've been serving as the Park Ridge Homeowners Association president for going on, I think, 6 years now. I think this might be my 5th request pitching this case. Essentially, we have a big neighborhood party, and we ask that the southernmost part of Laurelwood Drive be shut down, and the purpose is just safety for our children. We have bounce houses across the street at my neighbor's house and at my house, and we just want the peace of mind that we can all gather together and we don't have to worry about cars coming into that southernmost part of Laurelwood. So, and I think you guys have approved this request, I think 5 times in a row, so it's the exact same request. And the goal is safety for everybody, so that there's no cars coming through. And all of the properties affected by this are all notified, they're all on board, they're actually all coming to the event, and they all have kids. There's probably 25 kids at this event. It's community at its finest. So that's the reason for the request.
And just a note that on the request, it requires you to contact dispatch when the road's closed
saw
and
that.
reopened, so be sure to do
Okay.
that. But other than that, are there any concerns?
No, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, so that's on the 28th, got a couple weeks out. I'm sure you guys will have a great time, and again, hope the weather's good. And thanks for doing that, you know, those community events, those neighborhood events are big.
They are big. We love
Yeah,
it. We love
good.
it. So,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Michael, here for the 9/11 Memorial Committee. Again, a road closure, appear to be very, almost identical to what's being requested for Family Safety Day. Only not at the same time, obviously.
Yeah, we're gonna start about 6 o'clock, We'll probably close the road about 5, have fire apparatus, police cars, ambulances parked out there, flag display, and we'll probably be done by 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Okay,
So,
all right. And again, this is, how many years has this been going on?
this is our 18th annual.
Right.
Down there, it's been about 12 of those years.
I know I've been privileged to speak at that event in the past, and it's always done very well, and it's very moving, so I appreciate your organization of that.
Thank you.
And again, I would ask if you have any concerns, or if not, approve that closure.
No.
I move to approve.
Second.
Okay? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks.
Thank you very much.
All righty.
Appreciate it.
All right. Lynn, you've got a contract with Griffin Real Estate Services.
Yes, so about 10 years ago, they did an appraisal of our properties for insurance purposes. And it probably needs to be updated because we don't even have this building on that. And I brought a copy of the one we had done before, if you guys want to look at it, see how it turns out. They do pictures and show descriptions of the buildings and stuff like that. So it's
So
probably
that's
helpful for.
the deliverable that will be,
Yes, and it's probably helpful then for our insurance company carrier as well, so they can get the correct appraisals on some of our buildings.
okay.
So this
Is
is
it-
something we've done in the past, right?
Yes.
And, yeah,
They've done it for us before, and so they have a lot of our information, they'll just update on what they have.
Is the insurance carrier requesting this, or
Nope.
just probably a best practice to
It's a
keep it updated?
good practice, yep.
Yeah, all right.
It's been almost a decade. It was 2010, I
2010.
see, is it? Yeah.
Gosh, that sounds so serious when you
Yep.
put it that way, Jeff.
Almost a decade. All right,
sounds like due diligence, so I'll move to approve the.
Yeah. Second.
all right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. All right, the next three items are from requests from Warsaw Wayne Township Fire Territory. These three were all considered at their meeting earlier this week and approved, but we'll go through them one at a time for your approval. First is an agreement with Cottage Watchman.
Coming to you, like the mayor said, these went to the Warsaw Wayne Fire Territory Board this past Tuesday. So, Station 2, we had a partial keyless entry system that was not monitored. They were able to come in and place, instead of doing a complete fire alarm system and burglar alarm system, they added smoke detection and heat of rise detection. And he also tied in the baby box. The baby box by law has got to be monitored so that when it's activated. So we used Frank Rhodes' group, and this is a contract. They're also monitoring Station 3. If you remember, we have a contract with them. So this is every 6 months period payment. And there's money in the budget for it.
So it's $300 a year.
Yes.
Okay. And I know this is one of the things that we were required to do before we could activate the baby box. So we knew that this would be part of what Chief was going to do at the Station 2 anyway. So this makes perfect sense.
I'll move we approve the agreement.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And again, I'll note that that was approved by the Fire Territory Board on September 3rd. All right, next would be the generator maintenance with Cummins.
This is for Station 3. As you probably remember in the past, we do have an agreement with the police department generator and our Station 1 and Station 2 generator. This is for Station 3. It's to catch them up. We've been in the building about a year. The generator was placed in it about July, operational-wise. So this is just a startup of the new contract instead of replacing the original contract that we have currently for Station 1, Station 2, and the police department. This is a separate one. You will see come to you next year when it's time to renew the complete contract. This will be included in that, and then Chief Whitaker and I will submit that one to you.
All right. Questions?
No, move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Again, that was approved on that same meeting on September 3rd for the Warsaw Fire Territory Board, Warsaw Wayne Township. The third item, I want to preface this discussion just a little bit before Chief describes what we're asking you to approve. We're having some issues at Station 2, condensation issues that's caused some problems with not only the panels, the building panels, the metal building panels, but also the structural steel. There are also some settling issues with foundation at Station 2, and it looks like we need to do some structural overhaul with that building. We had the same issue at Station 1. Was it last year? I mean, it's been a couple of years.
It was underneath Chief Brubaker, so I believe it was
So it's
in
been a few years.
2014, 13 and 14 that was done.
And what I remember at that time is there were some significant issues with the metal and structure of that building. Fire stations have, obviously the garage doors are open and closed all times a year. There's condensation issues, salt issues. You're trying to maintain heat in a part of the building, and then you've got the cold. And by nature, that building kind of takes it's subjected to the elements, some extreme elements, and doesn't. I think it's showing now, and it's happened on Station 1 and then on Station 2. And I'm going to make just a little editorial comment that construction of Station 3 was certainly not that type of construction. We decided it was important to do a solid block wall building. And I'm not saying we're not going to run into some maintenance issues as we go down the road, but I feel very confident that the investment we made in Station 3 is going to prevent a lot of what's happening in Stations 1 and 2. So with that, Chief.
So we've reached out to our city engineer, James, and this is a company that was recommended. We have brought them in, had one meeting with them, a couple meetings. They have presented with a 3-phase project. This is the first phase. They need to come in and to pretty well do a site assessment, figure out what needs to be done, be able to create a program that they can come back to the Fire Territory Board and to the Board of Works with a plan. The agreement shows all 3 phases for you to review, but we're only doing phase 1. And there's a dollar amount that's attached to that, and it's $21,172. When they come and do these assessments, naturally, we're going to have James be around so that he can answer some questions for the city, and he will be involved in any of the meetings that we present with the Territory Board and with Board of Works.
James, do you have any comments on what you've seen down at the building, maybe to just reinforce the concerns that we've got?
Yes, there's clearly potential structural deficiencies in the building. And so get an architect group in and the team they've got coming in, they'll be able to identify any of those potential deficiencies. And then the other phases are, how do we fix them? What's the most cost-effective fix? Somebody's got to do a full-scale investigation to just understand the shape of the building is in right now, and that's what this part is.
Right. I think, were you around when we did Station 1, and didn't we not do this, and then as our contractor was trying to mitigate the concerns, they would find more problems.
yes.
And it got, I don't remember what we ended up spending over there, but I know there were some significant issues that we were just kind of finding as we went along, and this will give us a much better idea of an expectation of what we're gonna need to do.
Sometimes when you go into it without that professional guiding you, we get blinded in just fixing what's there and taking on costs to do a repair. Bringing them on board, we would hope that they would see alternative. If it's major, maybe easier just to build a parallel structure and abandon what we've got. That's the kind of insight they would bring to the table, is a bigger picture, so we don't get lost in just fixing what's broke there. That cost could be higher than going in another route.
Right. And we're not suggesting that that's gonna happen, but
No.
that's the expertise that you'll get.
That's correct.
Gotcha.
We'll get that benefit of their eyes and with those cost estimates of which approach would be the best approach to take.
Fair enough. Thank you.
What year was that building built?
Mid-70s, I think it was occupied in 1978.
Wow.
So again, what we're asking is for phase one, a not to exceed amount of $21,172. So that, and again, what is expected from that contract is listed in the bullet points. I think you've had a chance to look at. But it's basically like city engineer and chief have stated, it's to dig in and really determine what needs to be done.
Can I ask a quick question? Mike, do you know when does the 9% of construction costs for some of these charges, is that,
Phase 2 and 3,
okay,
it's on the,
right,
Yeah.
but the way I read it too, it says the 21,000 plus 9% of construction costs, but then if you read up further, it's different percents of the construction cost, so,
It's involved in construction cost.
okay,
That'll be their fees during construction cost.
okay.
So the 21 is the total now, and
Of
then
phase
as-
one,
And then
correct.
if it goes up to, I'm looking at 1.5 million, is that what?
That is just a scientific guess
I
on
know
what
that,
is,
But I'm, okay.
yeah.
Non-scientific.
Nothing,
Well, I'm just, it's
Yeah,
it's those people telling you potentially
correct.
it could be that, which is a big number to me.
Yeah.
But, and then I think what Lynn is saying, then it's 9% of whatever that would be.
Just like when they built Station
Yeah.
3, your design collaborative group has a fee that goes along with it. And again, this is just to get the footprint of what's wrong, what needs to be fixed, so that we can make a decision on what way to go.
Fire Territory Board had a pretty significant amount of discussion about this, and I think that was a unanimous approval from them, or recommendation to this board, that you all approve it as well.
This also is your master long-term plan, I'm forgetting, I know the board's.
Yes, it is.
Because that's a huge amount of money, and has it
It
been
is
brought
in
up?
our
Should we
plan
fix? that
to
you get-
look at Station 2 to determine what, it's a great location, we don't ever want to do anything with it differently, because of ISO ratings and where it's positioned. You
Okay.
know, our fathers back then positioned Station 1 and Station 2 for the growth of the community. That's a major footprint of where we're at. We
Okay.
Really, as a group, we're not looking at doing anything different with a different location. That station needs to remain in that area. We just want to make sure that we keep it where it can be maintained and be in that area.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would reiterate that too, that location with access to US 30 and other parts of the township. And obviously on this side of the railroad tracks, we're not going anywhere.
Okay.
So, all right, so is there a thought on what you want to do with this?
I'll make a motion that we approve this.
Okay,
Second.
all right. So, motion's been made and seconded to approve the phase one of the contract with Design Collaborative. And the scope of services are listed in this document here. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, Parks, you're up. this is a contract with American Ramp Company. And as you're coming up to the podium, I just want to, really gratified to see all the work that was done out at Kelly Park, and it came to fruition this week.
It's beautiful.
The pickleball courts are amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
I pulled up to the park and I couldn't find a spot to park up there. The pickleball people have taken over Kelly Park in a very good way. Provides a lot of great recreation for a very broad range of ages.
Yeah.
And with the new playground equipment, I did try one of the slides out, and it met my approval and weight standards, so everything was good.
Good. Yeah, if you haven't been out to see the new play structure, stop out there because it's great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it's a great addition.
Yep.
And I made the comment that it truly is a neighborhood park out there. It services a very wide neighborhood in that area, and we're really proud of it. So great
Absolutely.
work.
Did you play around a pickleball too?
They let me hit a couple, and I have work to do, so. Well, they use a little wiffle ball. I thought it was like a tennis ball, and yeah, like the Bears last night, so. Anyway, so you have this contract with American Ramp?
Yes, you have in front of you a contract from American Ramp Company for a conceptual design for the skate park relocation from Boggs, where it's at right now, to Richardson Du Bois in the Fraser Field area, right beside, maybe on the west end by Dollar General. American Ramp is a company who has serviced our ramps and put in the ramps that we have almost 20 years ago. They're very responsive to any needs that we have. We're very happy with them. So we would like them to do this conceptual design. If you remember, this was part of the Stellar project back when we did that in that whole Market Street area. It was also, or is also in our master plan for the parks for this next 5 years. This is a plan we're looking at doing in 2021. And this is the first step to being able to start securing some funding for this project.
I remember during the Stellar application and design phase, project development, that I think that's when the discussion really flowered about having it down there and moving
Yes.
it. Could you share a little bit with the discussions that you've had with the park board about that location change and how it may improve accessibility or what? I think that'd be helpful.
Right, just looking at the map alone, I feel like if you look at the Boggs area, and yes, there's quite a few houses out there that this could service or that it does service, but if you then look at the same, moving that to the Market Street area and the homes and the children or the people in general that you could impact in that area, it's huge. If you think about people from the Market Street area now that might want to use that park that may not have the transportation to get over there, that's quite a walk or a ride, whichever. The sidewalks on that end of town aren't the best. Is it a safe way to go? There might be through different routes. But when you move that to the Market Street area, think of the way the modes of transportation that you have to that area, the new sidewalks that they're putting in. I just feel like it's a much safer area as far as transportation goes to that park.
What are the plans for the existing site?
That is to be determined. We are looking at alternatives, but nothing.
I think with the location by the baseball fields and the
Yes.
neighborhoods out even a little bit north of there, I think it'd be good to try and, again, just a suggestion, I know the park board looks at these things very thoughtfully,
Yes.
but I would certainly, my 2 cents worth would be to maybe create some type of recreational alternative for the kids that are, families that are out there, maybe, kids are playing baseball. I think the basketball courts will stay out there, obviously.
Yes, they won't be
So-
going anywhere.
Okay. And then that neighborhood to the north of Boggs that's in the city, and the rest of that neighborhood, there's probably not a whole lot out there for them, and I think it'd be important to maybe address their needs. So just
Yes.
my 2 cents worth on that.
Yeah, we don't want to take anything from that area and that community out there
Right.
without replacing it with something. And those conversations has been had, just no
Yeah.
definite answers to that yet.
And you know, with the improvements that have gone on for the last several years and that should be completed here real soon on Market Street, with the sidewalk on the north side and the mixed-use path on the south side, that's going to provide great accessibility to that park. And I know that you guys have done a great job with the basketball court down there, the playground equipment, and this will just be an added bonus.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to make a comment here. The Market Street project is pretty much an extension of what we did on Phase 1. And the design of that road is such to calm traffic, if you will, the bump outs. And this creates a safer, shorter crossing for all the families to get across the road. It slows cars down. And I know I hear comments, so that, you know, that road's not as wide as it was, and we know that, and that's part of the deal. We're going to provide parking for those families to enjoy those amenities, and we're going to also create a much safer environment for kids to cross the street at the corners with the bump outs and with the side paths. And that's Market Street that's truly again, kind of continued with our stellar idea was, you know, that is a very important neighborhood that we've seen a lot of improvement. Private individuals are improving their properties along that road because of the work that Jeremy and the Plan Department, the Stellar Community Group, and all of our public meetings on these projects. It's going to be a great thing, but the idea is that it's designed to handle people walking on bicycles and in motor vehicles as well. But it will provide a much safer environment. So again, kudos to you all. So I've been rambling and I forgot where we're at. Did we take a motion to approve the?
There's been nothing but you talking.
Okay. Thank you, Lynn. Any questions?
No, I'll make a motion. We accept the concept design.
Okay. Is there
Need a
good?
second?
All right. Any further questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Jeremy. This is item number 10, Lincoln Elementary School sidewalk project. It's a pay application.
Yes, it's just NDOT project 80/20 match pay application, so you have the payment application as well as the submission to NDOT for reimbursement. Like I said, that we pay 100%, they reimburse 80%. This is for engineering for that ongoing project that will continue for the next year or so before we start construction. I think it's 2021 or 2022, so it'd be 2021 July to June of 2022. So that's our target.
All right. Questions?
I move to accept.
Second?
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Item number 11. Thanks, Jer. Oh, yeah, that's yours as well. This is the Lucerne Amphitheater pay application.
Yes, this has been reviewed by Justin and James as well. I think the pay application is the amount of $39,306.64. It's the second payment application for that amphitheater project, so just need your approval.
Okay. Any questions?
No, move to approve.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Thanks, Jeremy. Chief. This is the request to pursue seal quotes for 2021.
Yeah, I have items, I guess, 12 and 13. Could I proceed with 13 first, which is our
Sure.
current? Okay. With item 13 is just simply, we received sealed quotes back in January of this year. Lassus Brothers was the sole corporation or business to submit a quote. The board accepted that quote, and we just have yet to actually sign the agreement. So this request is simply just for you to agree to the contract for 2020, and that was again for the fuel price that you've already accepted, which was $2.07 per gallon.
Scott, I know that maximum gallons 78,000. Have you raised that a little bit?
We went from 75, I
That's
think,
what I
to
thought.
78,000, correct.
Has our experience been that we've exceeded that?
We have exceeded, usually in December, so just want to make sure
And
we
then
don't.
when we exceed that, do we pay just the market, or do
It's
they?
just the pump price, I
Yeah.
believe. I don't know that there's a slight discount on that or not.
I don't believe so. I think it's a pump price.
Pump price, would- yeah.
So it makes sense to move it, so we're guaranteeing the 78,000.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
It's actually a minimum.
And it'll be interesting to see, that may increase with some of the annexations as far as how much additional fuel
Right.
that we will be using.
Probably will. Well, I appreciate your consideration of that. So, all right, so this is for next year at $2.07 per gallon, 2.071 to be exact. Again, this obviously gives us a great budgeting tool. We know what it's going to be for the entire year, so any questions on this contract, item 13?
No, I'll move to approve.
Second?
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Item 12 would be a request to pursue that same process for 2021. And you would do that basically on October 4th, so whatever their futures price is for 2021 at that exact moment.
Correct.
Is what we'll be dealing for.
Yeah, whoever so chooses to submit a request, they'll have up until the board meeting, the 10:30 a.m. board meeting on the October 4th. Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, and we will advertise two times prior to that in hopes of receiving additional bid offers. But we certainly have certain specifications, and those specifications allow us to track the vehicles and the fuel usage and such, and by department. So, but with that being said, on October 4th, if the board accepts the bid or a bid, then I'll bring the contract back in, probably the following Board of Works.
Any questions on that process?
No.
I know in the past we've had more than one bidder, at least on one occasion, if I remember correctly. Maybe not.
I'm not, well, we actually with diesel, because we were using we use,
A different vendor.
yeah, the co-op,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Is that part of this process, the diesel?
no,
Cost?
diesel price is on here in the event that there's an issue. This is a secondary, but
But
there's no.
that's a separate contract.
That's correct.
The diesel.
Second contract, but but the city employees or vehicles are able to fuel up diesel at those locations, at the Lassus Brothers locations. But we
Yeah.
do not have there's not going to be a accepted bid offer, but they can access fuel with those cars.
Jeff, are you involved in that diesel contract?
At the moment, we do not have a diesel fuel contract with Baines Pump Price.
Pardon me?
At the moment, there is not a diesel fuel contract. We are currently paying the pump price.
Okay. All right.
And the reason that they have to use the co-op, obviously, is for their vehicles and to fit in, there's
To
no
get 'em
gas
in and
station
out.
to get them in and out, so
Yeah. Okay.
we're kind of limited.
All right. All right. Any questions?
Move to accept the request.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, item 14, Jeff, street contract for West Center with Fenton Brown. All right, you have anything to say?
No, just need to sign it.
Okay,
You already approved the bid earlier this year.
right, I understand.
July 19th, I believe.
Just looking at the dates on here for that work to begin. Any question or any thoughts on that? It's a pretty significant project the city will have done this year. Just kind of giving a little heads up to know when they propose to start that.
It's supposed to be sometime in the middle of September, so here hopefully in another week or two.
Okay?
We have found some other issues on that road.
Okay,
that are being addressed, and hopefully it'll all be completed in a timely manner to have that be able to be done. It is a two-part process, two kind of different companies. The sub-bidder is going to be on that project. We're going to do a fabric overlay to help control some of the reflective cracking that's going to occur, since so much work has occurred on that road section in the last 2 years. With sewer and storm, it kind of looks like Swiss cheese right now. So we're going to do a fabric overlay and then put asphalt on top of that, which we've used in other areas. Main Street was one of those. And it really seemed to service that road very well for the last 2 years. So.
okay, so that project will take how long once you get started
3 days.
to do the whole thing? They'll mill, I assume, and then, okay, all right, great.
Mill one day, fabric the next, and then pave the following.
All right. All right, fair enough. Any questions?
No, I'll move we sign off on the contract.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. All right, wastewater. Got item 15 is a pay application for Kokosing.
Before we get paying bills on the Center Street project,
Yeah,
we have Market Street closed so we can line that 48-inch storm sewer currently. If you travel that way, you realize that. It'll be closed through next week also. So we can pave Center Street. We have the water company has bored through our sewer in a couple spots. We have to do some emergency repairs there before they can pave. So we're gonna have restrictions on Center Street probably as well. That's gonna create kind of a traffic nightmare with Center and Market, but we're going to do our best we can to keep people moving through there. Yesterday, we had an emergency repair with flaggers, so we kept traffic moving during that repair. Probably be a similar situation next week.
so those will be lane restrictions, they won't be closed?
Our goal, most of the work will be in the westbound lane, so we think we can still get cars through. Yesterday, we had it restricted to one lane with a flagger, direct, let one lane go and then the other lane go, and we anticipate that's what will be next week as well.
Okay.
But just so everybody's aware of that,
Yeah, I think
that street,
Stacy has put that out, and hopefully we'll all understand that.
that street's been a
Tis the
nightmare
season.
for everybody.
So these are emergency repairs, unanticipated repairs on Center
On Center.
and Market.
Market was anticipated. That's
Oh, that was the
part of
lining.
the
Gotcha.
lining contract.
Okay.
We just didn't anticipate having to work on Center at the same
Same
time
time.
we had Market closed.
Gotcha.
So,
All right, so you want to address this $1.5 million application, payment application
Yeah,
for
this is-
Kokosing?
payment number 6 to Kokosing for the work going on with the treatment plant expansion is progressing well. I've been a good contractor to work with and haven't really had any issues to this point.
Okay.
If you want us-
Timelines still seem to be
Timelines are still on
being met.
schedule.
Good.
With a really wet spring we have, they said they might have lost 6 to 8 days. We're not going to extend the contract until we get to the very end. If they can't make those 6 or 8 days up, we will consider time extensions at that point, but they're moving right along. And
Good.
reminder, if anybody wants to see it, they can always check it out on the city website. We still have the cameras up, and you can do a time lapse from when there's snow on the ground to today. And
Are the
Question.
tours still going on at one?
yes, on Fridays.
Sorry.
Okay. I move to approve.
Second.
All right, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Item 16 would be our engineers, part of that project.
Yeah, this is for the engineering services during construction, the construction oversight, the review of documents, those sorts of things, and any questions that come up.
I'll move to approve that.
Second.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Looks like a similar,
Similar payment for the sewer
The
rehab
rehab.
projects.
right, engineering, and essentially they're overseeing the project, making sure the work's getting done before we pay them, and that's done right.
Correct.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Here's an amendment to the sewer rehab project for additional services, item 18.
Right. If you remember, we did a couple change orders, adding extra lines to the projects, trying to maximize our SRF loan. And so they've had extra engineering and extra time and oversight. And so that's what this amendment's doing, is just extending their services for those services that they've provided. We're what, within 100,000, 150,000 maybe of maximizing that entire SRF loan. So for the dollar amount and the low interest rates we've got, we are going to maximize the work we're able to do with that. So
And isn't that a 35-year amortization on that,
that is a 35-year.
on the rehab? So it's all favorable, very favorable for the city and the ratepayers, more importantly.
We are going to maximize the footage that we're able to do with the dollars that we had, and they've worked hard to get all that in there.
Questions?
No, I'll move, we approve the amendment.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks,
you.
Brian. 1 o'clock? All right. 1 o'clock is there, every Friday, they take a tour of the work site and highlight the progress, so. All right, item 19, travel requests from HR. Whitney, are you gonna present those? Jennifer's on vacation. These are basically 2 police and 1 building and plan. They've been listed here. Did you all have any questions?
No, they seem minimal. I'll go ahead and make a motion, we accept the travel
Okay.
request.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Item 20 is the new hire report. Looks like there's 3 firemen coming off probationary status, which is not for discipline reasons, just their probationary period as new members of the department. Another part-time that needs to receive a EMT certification. And there's a replacement equipment operator at the street department. There's a promotion at wastewater, and then a shift change at the police department. Pretty standard, no new employee hires, just.
I move to approve new hire change of payroll report.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, Whitney, you've got a walk-in. You want to just basically,
For the plaza?
yeah,
Sure. The request for the plaza, the lunch plaza that you approved for their August dates, they've requested that they extend them. The parking closures, those first 2 spots on Buffalo Street, that side with the plaza, they've asked that to extend at least through September into October, so given that the weather is nice for them. So they just like to keep that same closure in place every Friday, starting today until possibly the end of October.
so this was a request from the WCDC. They've had some really positive response, and you know, if you get hungry here in about 45 minutes, go across the street, there's typically, especially on Fridays, there's been really nice crowds. This is a project that WCDC spearheaded, and we're doing our part to allow some space for the vendors over there. This is kind of the pilot project for this that I talked with Rob Parker yesterday at WCDC, and when we're done with our summertime lunch activities, we're going to sit down and look at the project and kind of take some ideas for changes if there are any necessary, and probably come back in the spring with a full year a full season of closures or requests. May move some things around, but this was just, we wanted to, with the construction being completed this year, we wanted to kind of give it a go. And I know several of the merchants were really excited to set up food booths, and it's worked out great. Kind of taking a step at a time, and that previous closure request for those first 2 spots that we're considering right now just went through the end of August, so we're just asking, WCDC's asking to extend those through basically the rest of the season. So, yes.
There may be issues with that, with the traffic signal project.
Right.
To start.
Good point.
Actually, maybe taking up some area there.
Okay, duly noted. Let's go ahead and talk about whether or not you want to approve this, or I know we're going to need to sit down with that group, because when do you anticipate that starting?
Hopefully within the next 2 weeks, as long as polls come in.
So the traffic signals are going to be replaced at Buffalo and Center, and that certainly could interfere with some lunchtime activities. So we'll have to address that, and let Trish and Rob know that they're going to need to sit down sooner than later with Jeff and get a timetable. Are you going to need that plaza? I mean, is it going to be safe for them to eat in the plaza?
There's not going to be any entrance ramps anywhere at the 4 corners. They're all getting removed and ripped out, including the sidewalks. And so they're going to be making alternative ways for pedestrian transportation with signage and blockades and whatnot. So yeah, the entire intersection is going to be pretty messy.
Okay.
How long will that last?
About
A month?
So there's potential we could move that to the alleyway and some of the plaza out here. We'll have to, I appreciate you bringing that up. That will certainly affect how this works out. So I would ask that you approve or consider approving this request pending the construction that'll be going on in that, and obviously yielding to that construction.
Contingent.
Yeah, and so moved. Appreciate the efforts, and excited to see what you can work through over the winter to keep this ball rolling. It's just a great thing, I think, for the downtown. So.
All right.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. Thanks, Jeff, appreciate that, because that's important.
Who made the motion on that one? Was it?
Jeff.
Okay. So I'm assuming.
Okay, there are some special claims here. We're getting to the end. These are 2 NDOT payment requests. I assume these are Market Street. Okay. I think this is, the request is that we get these paid in a timely fashion.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. And finally, the claims docket that's been presented to you for your approval. Any questions or comments on that?
I didn't see it. I'll move, we approve the claims docket.
Second.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right. Any other items to be moved to the board? Carried forward? Linda, have anything?
No,
All
I
right.
do not.
Any visitors' questions or comments? All right. So, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All right.
Second.
Thank you. All right, thank you all.